Hey guys, Anthony Mixer here. I'm the Government Affairs Chairman for the Washington State Young Republicans, and we're here with Jim Walsh, the State Republican Party Chairman, representative from the 19th Legislative District, and Tim Eyman, the legendary Initiative King of Washington State. We just got out of Thurston County Superior Court regarding 2 cases on initiatives. I'm going to start with you, Tim. What was your case all about? What was the end ruling? I guess you don't have a ruling yet, but can you just...
Yeah, it was actually an interesting case. I'm not an attorney. I can't afford an attorney, so I did it all myself, and it was all about how the Secretary of State unilaterally increased the filing fee for an initiative from $5 to $156. Huge, massive increase, 3,000% increase. And I argued he just didn't have the authority to do it. On numerous occasions, the legislature's considered raising the fee. They've always decided to keep it down. And so it was more, not so much is a good policy to have a high fee or a low fee. Obviously, I think it's better policy to keep it low. But it was, did he have the authority to do it? And I argued they don't. This is the purview of the legislature. If they want to change it, that's one thing. And I thought my best moment was the fact that he kept it all a secret. No one knew that he was doing this. And yet, I followed all the rules, but there was no hearing. Jim Walsh was never notified. I was never notified. The people who sponsor initiatives, you would think the stakeholders would have some say in the decision making. He kept it all a secret, and the first I heard about it was 2 days before the first day you could file an initiative. So we'll see what the judge says, but at the end of the day, it was a good battle over the initiative process, because people like us, the people who do initiatives like Jim and I, or regular people, it shouldn't just be rich people that have access to the initiative process. Poor people, regular people should be able to access it too. $156 knocks it out for regular people.
Right. Now, Jim, can you cover your case real quick?
Yeah, we were here in court arguing about the Public Investment Impact Disclosure, PIID. Sometimes people call them in shorthand a fiscal impact statement. That's actually part of that process. Sometimes people talk about them as warning labels on initiatives. It's a relatively new thing. It was created by a law passed in Olympia a couple of years ago. And basically, it's a statement that attaches to an initiative once it's qualified to be on the ballot, that spins it, that describes what the initiative does. But we're very concerned that that information, which on its face could be neutral and could be a good thing for people to understand what's in an initiative, is going to be weaponized, is going to be spun and turned into partisan rhetoric, usually against whatever the initiative is trying to do. We've already seen elements of this happening outside of this PIID process, where elected officials have spun and mischaracterized the 3 initiatives that'll be on the ballot this November. That is the initiative to repeal the cap and trade scheme, the initiative to repeal the state's capital gains excise tax, highly controversial, and to make optional the payroll tax that funds the state's long-term care scheme. These are 3 good tax reforms that we're deeply concerned this PIID will attempt to make sound, terrible. The sky is falling, they're going to ruin everything. They're going to defund schools, defund bridges and roads. None of that's true. And we're worried that if we don't carefully use these PIID disclosures, they will become partisan weapons. That's what we were trying to fix today. The court did not go our way. They did not agree with our argument. They are letting the State Attorney General's office and the Secretary of State proceed with the PIIDs, and we're very concerned about the spin, the rhetoric, the misleading statements that may be in these disclosures. So we're not sure what we're going to do. We're thinking about whether we want to appeal this ruling today here in Thurston County. There's still some points to be made around this weaponization, and unfortunately today Thurston County lived up to its reputation as being the state court where the Constitution goes to die. It was very clear that this judge had made up her mind in advance of the oral arguments at the hearing and basically rubber stamped the Attorney General's office's arguments and the bureaucracy's arguments. So that was unfortunate, and but it may not be over yet.
All right. Well, unfortunately, yeah, we did lose the case. Hopefully, we'll see something come of it. We're still waiting a decision from you. Yesterday was a big day, though. We saw 3 of the initiatives go into law. Can you describe what those initiatives were?
Oh, it was a great day yesterday. Yes.
Actually, very, very briefly, I just want to say on the PIIDs, the ACLU, not a friend of normally the initiative process, said this about them. They said, and this is when it was proposed. First proposed the idea of adding this little extra sentence onto a neutral ballot title. They said, "We are opposed to the interjection of government-sponsored speech on one side or the other of a political debate. Here, the primary purpose of placing this information on the ballot is to sway voters into voting against the initiative. This goes beyond mere provision of information and is designed to sway voters. The state should not use its power to tilt the electoral playing field. Proponents, opponents, and the media already do an active job of informing voters. There is no need for the state to provide a, quote, official version that is at a prominent place on the ballot where no other statements for or against are allowed." They passed the law anyway, but even the ACLU said this was a dangerous thing to do. So anyway, it's a bad law all around, and it shouldn't have applied to these 3 initiatives. But fortunately, because of the courage of Jim Walsh and Joel Ard, they were able to really articulate why these things are a bad thing. Sorry
Yeah,
to
it's
interrupt.
weaponization. That's
It
what
is
we're worried about.
weaponization.
We're worried about partisan weaponizing of this language.
Yeah.
You were saying.
So anyway.
Happier
the
day
3
yesterday, right. So the 3 initiatives that passed the legislature did take effect as law yesterday. Effective, they are now part of state statute. And those are the initiatives that restore police pursuits of criminals and criminal suspects.
That was a very good one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the thing that cops and sheriff's deputies all around the state had told me was the most important reform we could have in the world of fighting crime and building up public safety. This was a big one. The other one of the 3 was the Parents' Bill of Rights, the Washington Parents' Bill of Rights, which assures that custodial parents and guardians must know what's going on with their minor children. Schools and clinics and government institutions cannot hide information about minor children from their custodial parents or guardians. And then the third one that took effect as law yesterday was mentioned a little bit here today in court, is the initiative that states there'll be no state income tax, personal income tax in the state of Washington. And that touched on one of the other initiatives that was being considered today here in court. You're going to see the left trying to argue that no state income tax initiative, now law, is somehow overbroad or ambiguous. It's not. And in fact, the court's ruling today did clear up that it's not ambiguous. So that was a little silver lining in today's results here at the courthouse in Thurston County.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate these cases being brought forth, but do not let this discourage you, young Republicans, from getting out there and collecting signatures. We still have to get 2066 on the ballot, so please get out there and get those signatures collected. Any other final words before we close?
It's a beautiful day. Go and enjoy it.
Go enjoy it. Exactly.
Jim understates how impactful 2111 was. What's so exciting about it is it doesn't just ban an income tax, it's any tax that is based on your personal income. That is much broader than just an income tax. That could be, Democrats are masters of saying, well, it's not a tax. See, it's a premium. No, it's not a tax. It's a payroll thing. Well, the beauty of what Jim did with 2111 is he didn't say I'm banning an income tax at the state and local level. I'm going to ban any taxes based on personal income by state and local governments. It's much broader, much greater impact. For shorthand, we call it stopping an income tax, but frankly, it's going to protect taxpayers more than I think any initiative that I've ever done. It's a very exciting accomplishment.
Yeah, and that's why they're trying to say it's ambiguous. They're trying to undermine it already. But the silver lining in today's court decision is she didn't find it ambiguous, and she gave it a clear meaning. So
absolutely,
there's a little good news on today's results here at the court.
Exactly. We'll keep recruiting, training, and electing more young Republicans, and we're also going to continue fixing what's broken. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a great day, young Republicans.
Good stuff.